What is up, everybody? This is Eric, the Bear Collector, and today I'm going to be reviewing a game that I've been wanting to review for such a long time. However, I've been, I've been really hooked on it for the last couple of weeks, probably for over a month now, because this game was longer than I thought. It's actually a Nintendo Switch download game, and that game is Save Me Mr. Tako for the Nintendo Switch. Now, as of the making of this video, this particular game is currently only a download only game. There's been talks that they might want to release it as a physical release. So we don't know for sure yet if that's going to happen. But yeah, this game was released back in October 30th of 2018, which it was released about a year ago, which was also the anniversary of my channel. If you guys go back to the very first video I uploaded was about the Super Nintendo game Addams Family on October 30th of 2018 as well. So basically, I wanted to make this video. Actually, this is a video that I've been wanting to make back on October 30th, but because of time and a lot of stuff going on that week, it became really busy. And not only that, when I thought I finished the game, or close to the finish of the game, I was only like halfway through the game. So this tells you that I've been playing this game religiously for the past month. Haven't played anything else, only focused on this game. But I really wanted to talk about it because there's a lot to talk about. So it was released October 30th, 2018. This game came out. It was actually for sale on the Nintendo Switch store for a few weeks prior. I got it on sale for $4.99. It was a pre-release sale, so I bought it beforehand. And one of the things that you see right off the bat from looking at the game cover, first thing I thought when I saw it, I thought Kirby. That's the very first thing I thought. Oh, this is gonna be a Kirby clone, right? So, boy, was I incorrect. Not quite incorrect, but incorrect for the most part. But before I get to the gameplay mechanics about the game, I want to give you a little bit of a back history. Now, I found this out while playing the game. I found out that the creator of the game was created by one person. He spent 5 years creating the game. Around the early development of the game, he experienced, the person that created the game lived in Paris at the time, and this was in 2012. So during that time, he experienced a terrorist attack that happened in the city that happened at that time, and that really impacted him personally, as well as the direction of how the game was gonna go, you know. And he pretty much said that he made the game, you know, based off his feelings at the time of what was going on and everything. But fast forward a few years later, after he was creating the game, he took a long time trying to find out. He was going to many conferences, a lot of the indie developer conferences, to get the game out and everything. And finally, he was able to release the game, and he was very excited to release it, and so it became a release. Now, in the same article, and I'm about to post the article below so you guys can read it. It's a very interesting article. He also talks about how he wants to release it, but it all depends on, you know, a lot of the times these indie developers and a lot of these games don't get a physical release unless it does really well on the store. And I hope that it does really well, because this game deserves to be a physical release as well. Now to move back to the story of the game, basically you are Tako. You are an octopus, and your brother Bako, he is one of the main generals of the octopus army. So there's this conflict going on in the world. There's these three countries, Belize, not to be confused with the real Belize, because it's a make-believe game, but it has very, very real world feel to it, you know, of the events and everything. You have a country, Belize, who wants to be neutral in the war. You got a country that is fighting against each other, which is Sorona, or I forgot the name of the countries, Sonora or Sorona, I forgot the name, and also this other country called Idor or Igor. Sorry, the names are really hard. Those two countries are fighting amongst each other. So the one that starts with an S, Sedona or Sorona, that country is considered to be the mecca of religion, the hub where a lot of religious people, the heartthrob of the religion culture. Whereas Idor it doesn't take over the religious culture. They're more into the art and the Renaissance, of the culture. So they have their differences who wants to take over. And at the same time, the octopus army wants to take over because they want to be the dominant people of the world and be the main species. Because a long time ago, the octopuses were supreme in the world before the humans. So Tako is thrown in the middle of this whole thing. Excuse me, my voice. Taco's thrown into the middle of the whole thing, and he's trying to his thought is like he believes that everyone can live together, that no one needs to fight, that everyone can get along. Also, the princess of the octopus realm, she is very good friends with Tako. She believes the same thing, but then the chancellor believes that of the octopuses believes that no, they should be supreme. So it's a big war story surrounded amongst good and evil, and the story is very detailed. As you go along in the game, you will discover that there's more deep things into the story, but that's something you guys should experience for yourself on the game. It's really it's a very interesting story. When I was playing the game, I knew that this has to have been based off something that the person went through or whatever, and then I come to find out that it is. So you feel it when you play the game. You feel that tug of, we should all get together. No, we should be the dominant people. No, we are the dominant ones. And so it gives you that. You feel it when you play in the game. Now, going to the gameplay of the game, like I said earlier, you guys think that this is a Kirby ripoff, right? No, it's not. I thought that the very first time I bought the game, I thought it was going to be a Kirby ripoff or a Kirby make or similar to it. But then I played the game much later, almost a year after I bought it. And it ended up being a mix of a lot of great games. You got, I believe, so the creator of the game wanted to pay homage to the Game Boy Color era, because that's where he grew up on, the Game Boy Color era, which is the reason why he made that style of gameplay. And I believe it fits it perfectly. But the style of gameplay, you have, it's a side-scrolling platformer, but it has mixes of Metroidvania and a lot of, almost knocked my thing out. So a lot of mixes of Metroidvania and other elements. It has mixes of Metroid, Zelda 2, has a lot of Kirby elements, especially at the end. There'll be a lot of Kirby elements to it. It also has some Mario elements to it. So he plays homage to all these great games, and it's like you have all these great games mashed into one, and I believe that that's really cool. I believe that the creator of the game made that pretty well, but isn't it, as great as the game is sounding, there's also its flaws. It's not, there's also every good thing, nothing can be perfect. So there is some little flaws, but it's not major flaws. But anyways, you play these side-scrolling levels. The map screen reminds you a lot of Kirby, like I said, because you go into these doors and into the levels. There's 50 level total, plus each there's 6 worlds. From world 1 through 5, there's 3 hidden levels, so there's 15. And then the 6th world is more of a straight-through play with just the levels, level 50, and this immensely huge tower that you have to climb towards the end. And I won't spoil it as much, but the last world, world 6, God, that world was a pain. So don't let the cuteness of the game fool you. This game has its challenges, but it also has it's also fair to the player, so I gotta give that to the creator of the game. Also, you collect these hats. Now the power-ups come in hats. There's 50 hats to collect, and each hat gives you a different power. Each hat gives you a certain ability to use at certain points in the game because there'll be parts of the game where you can't access yet. You have to come back later with a different type of hat. So there's 50 hats to collect. As of right now, I think I probably collected about almost 40 hats. But there's still more to collect after passing the game. I have a 90% completion on the game. But you can play the game and just play it straightforward. But if you don't play it, it gets really long and really deep, because you're trying to. There's not a lot of information out there as tips for the game, and there is a section, so I'm gonna include that section for tips, because I believe that you guys should have that, because the game gets a little bit confusing at times, and you know, it's just to help you get the hidden levels. But yeah, so there's 50 hats. Going back to that, there's 50 hats. Some are useful, some are not. Most of the part, you'll get the useful ones later in the game. At first you think like, oh my god, where are these hats? But a lot of them you'll uncover later in the game. You also, the one thing that's a pain of the game is it's a one hit and you die type of thing. Or if you have a hat, you get hit, you lose the hat, you get hit, you die. That tends to get a little annoying, but it also makes the game more difficult and balances it out, because it's not really a hard game, but that adds to a little bit of the fun frustration of the game, you know. Also, you use ink. You really don't kill enemies, you kind of stun them with ink. And a lot of this ink, when you stun an enemy that's flying, you use them as platforms. So it's a very unique way to get across the levels. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give a quick gameplay of the game. I know I rambled on a lot about the game because there's just a lot to tell. You wouldn't think that this game has a lot of info on there, but there is. You know, it's one of those games that is very... right now it's been overshadowed. I don't think a lot of people have known about it. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick gameplay of the game, and I shall be back in a minute. What is up, everybody? So now I'm back. I'm about to do a quick gameplay of the game Saving Mr. Tako. Let's go ahead and start it. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that you can actually change the borders in the background. So you can go ahead and change it with the ZL and ZR buttons of the controller to different ones. I choose that one. And then if you use the L and R buttons, you can change the color schematics of the game. Has, like, I say about like 9 or 10 different borders. Also about like 9 or 10 different colors. I choose this gray layout because it's easier for me when I play it. It's easier on my eyes when, to see the gameplay. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start a new game. Let me erase, because I had started one. Delete that one. And let's go ahead and play. So as you can see right here, I'm like 90% done with the game. Yeah, I was right. I have like about 40 hats. I have 39 hats out of the 50. So I still need to look for 11 more hats. Put in about almost 30 hours of gameplay. So that's one of the things. The game can be short, but it can be long too, depending on how much you go in and try to do in the game. So let's go ahead and start a new game. And you can choose standard or easy. I chose easy when I played it because even at easy, there were some parts of the game that were really hard. The game is not really that difficult. However, you know, there are sections where you're gonna be stuck for a while, and you know, like tricky jumps and whatnot. So anyways, I'll choose easy just for explanation's sake. And the game was created by Christoph Galati. I was trying to remember his name. So he's the one who made the game originally. Turn up the volume a bit. So one thing I didn't say earlier was the screen, the gameplay. So that black meter right there, that's your ink meter. So once it runs out, you can use your weapons for a second. It'll replenish just a little bit, but then it becomes really hard to use your weapons like a lot. That little feathery thing that says times 20, those are your number of lives. This game is one of those games you get hit once and you die. If you have a hat, you'll lose the hat and then you die. Or usually you'll just die altogether. And then those right next to the lives that say 0 right now, those are crystals. You collect 100 crystals, you get an extra life. But the crystals are also used to buy things in the game as well. And then that little bracket right there, that's where you would have an additional hat that you would take with you. Use the controller to move around. Down, if you go down, if you press down when you're somewhere higher up, you're able to scroll down and see a lot of the screen, but unfortunately you can't press up and see what's above. You move left and right, and then B button is used to jump, Y is to use the weapon, up button also is used to talk. So if you go up to a character right here, you press up and then you're able to talk. Now the X button is used to switch hats, but you don't have any right now. And then the A button is also used to attack. So in order to get there, now the interesting thing later when you use your ink as an octopus without using the weapon right now, you're able to create platforms when you ink a couple of enemies. So you'll use that to levitate above, you know, certain areas of the game. So make sure you go in here because you'll get a hat, which is a bow. So you obtain the cute bow, the cute ribbon, and that's used later in the game. So make sure you get that. So another thing. You'll see these cannons. If you press the attack button, you're able to shoot. But as we go here, see, so the brother Bako's not for saving humans. Unlike Tako, he just saved the human. And and Tako's good friends with the princess. So this is his house. We got some gems. And then one of the curious things that in the map screen, this is technically the map screen or the villages. On a lot of places, see how you can shoot indefinitely amounts of ink. It's until you reach a level where you start depleting your ink. And this is where the game resembles a lot like Kirby, because if you look here, you have like the map screen and different things. So, you know, and a lot of levels will unlock as you go along. And this is just like one of the levels right here. So I'm just gonna play a little bit through the levels, so I can give you a little bit of a look of how the game plays. So see how I just inked and I can stand on top of the enemy. And then one of the things you want to do throughout the games, you want to make sure that you're looking through every nook and cranny, because a lot of stuff is hidden. So it's always really good to kind of look around and see what you can get, and see how I just ink the enemy and use them as platforms. And that's a good tip. You always look down to see where everything is at. See those little black teardrops? Those right there, they are to replenish your ink meter. Okay, and then one important thing right here. This is like a halfway point. Right now at the beginning is just a halfway point, but later down in the game, you'll meet a character that allows you to change your hats. But you can only change one of the hats. So you can't like do the change of a secondary hat. And halfway points kind of tell you that you're kind of almost like in the middle of the game. Some places have like 2 halfway points. So, yeah. And you want to get as many lives as you can. Later down in the game, you'll be able to uncover a hidden area here in the first level that allows you to get like a bunch of lives every time you enter and you leave the stage. It's just like a stage full of power-ups. And you want to unlock that stage because throughout the game, it'll truly help you out. Like, you'll definitely use it to help you. As of right now, you know, I could have given you the trick to unlock it, but when I give you the I'm gonna put the on the comments down below on my description of the video. I'm gonna put a website where you can get a couple of I guess when the game came out on Steam, so you can get a couple of tips to where to find these hidden rooms. But there you have it, first level beat. Another interesting thing to note, see right there where the star is at below the number. If you have a star on that level, that means that the level is completely done. However, you see a little check mark on there, that means that you have to go back in the level and you miss something that's hidden. So sometimes you won't be able to complete everything right away, so you'll have to go back later in the game and use a different style of hat. So, yeah. Okay. Ugh, too high. Anyways. There you go. This is the character that'll let you select hats. So now you have to look for an item. Oops. See, I just died. I have to start over. God. Okay, here we go. So I gotta look for that item for the character. And that's the halfway point. So... Gosh, I can't remember where it was at because this is way back. Let me see. Ah, I remember now. Okay. There it is. Okay. Ooh, okay, there it is. So now I get to the town, the village. So that hat that you got right there is a hat of friendship. So it gives you an extra hit before you die. So let's see what hats do we have. Remember the ribbon we got way at the beginning? And then those two. So those are the only two hats I have so far. So what you can do is select the ribbon. And then you can select that. And see how you have the ribbon at your icon right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. I just want to show you guys a quick gameplay of it. Just kind of, you know, show you guys a little bit of the gameplay of the game. So in here is where you would go in and meet the princess, but she's missing obviously. So it unlocked the level. So let me see. So I think that's where they were asking. Later down in the game, you'll be able to access a lot of different locations. So there it is, level 3. So with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop here. I'm just gonna go ahead and you know, stop for right now and give you guys my final thought. That was a quick gameplay of the game. It's a pretty fun game. So anyways, I'll give you guys my final thought and I will be back in a minute. Hey, what is up everybody? So I'm back again. So that was a quick gameplay of the game, Save Me Mr. Tako. So final thoughts on the game. Definitely this game is a hidden gem. It's a must-have. Unfortunately, you know, it's as of right now, as of the making of this video, it's only available as a download. But, you know, I mean, it's a great game, but it's not without its flaws. Now, one of the things that I've kind of complained a little bit is, first of all, if you guys notice in the dialogue, when Tako was talking to the other people, one of the things that the creator of the game did not do, and this gets really crazy because the story gets a little bit garbled up in the middle. They didn't put who was talking, like whose dialogue belonged to whom, and that was one of the issues with dialogue in the game. You know, the other thing of the game that I kind of was like, man, I wish they should have done, is the way they did the hat system. You can't select your hats. You don't have an inventory menu. It would have been awesome if you would have been able to keep track of your hats, if you're able to select hats whenever you want it. Granted, I know that it's a one-hit kill type of situation, but that would have been a helpful thing rather than having the character give you the hats on the halfway points or at certain parts of the game. If not, you'll never be able to select them. And one final thing that really bugged me is tracking your side quests. In a lot of games, you get to be able to track your quests. You know, you'll be able to have a list of quests, you know, that you can track. You can somehow check up on, you know, see what you need to do. It would have been great because that way it would have helped out a lot. That would have been very helpful. But there is no way to track the quests that you need to complete, the side quests. And that made it a little bit confusing. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't such a big deal for the game because kind of at the end of the day, you kind of knew what you needed to do, and you get through the game. But overall, this was a fantastic game. You know, I love it. I love this game. It kind of fooled me. I thought it was going to be a Kirby clone, but it ended up being a bunch of different games mixed into one. And I believe that if this particular game came out back in the days of the Game Boy era, I think it would have been a really popular game, or it would have been a very sought after game. Nonetheless, it would have been one of those games that it would have made a lot of buzz. Unfortunately, because there are so many games that are overshadowing the system. I mean, we got hundreds upon hundreds of great games out there that are overshadowed by a lot of the main title games. It's hard to kind of pinpoint out the good ones, and definitely this game is one of the good ones. So hopefully the creator of the game is watching. Hopefully you guys are able to make a physical release. But anyways, to all of you guys, yeah, that's my take on the game. It was such a fantastic experience for me, and I highly recommend this one. Don't miss out on it. It's a really fun game, and it's not really that expensive. I know that I bought it. I mentioned earlier I got it about for $4.99 as a pre-sale. Honestly, I don't know how much the game goes for. Right now, because it's hard to tell. Once you purchase a game, it doesn't really tell you how much the game is worth right now at the moment. So I would suggest you seek it out, even if it's like a $10 game. Support it. Support the developer, because it's a great game, and hopefully the developer makes a lot of other great games as well. If not, I'm gonna try to look into it. But anyways, this was my take on Save Me Mr. Tako, a fantastic game, a game that really took over my spare time for the last month or so. You know, it really I did not play any other games other than this one for the time being. So anyways, this has been Eric the Bear Collector. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.